Okay, so this is for section 6, which is stock valuation. Okay, so you're going to have two different methods you can choose from. So you have to pick one of these methods. You could choose the dividend discount model. You have to have a dividend in order for this to work. If you don't have a dividend, it's not going to work. So let me show you a few things here. Let's see if we can find dividend. Let's just kind of go through a search. So here's Yahoo Finance. Let's go to historical data. I don't know if we could find dividends here. Here's historical prices. Oh, look at that. Dividends only. So this is, it doesn't go too far back. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, if you want to do the dividend model, you have to find, let's pull up Excel real quick on this. So if you want to do the dividend discount model, this is what we need. We need the last, or the dividend one, well, it's expected, we would say, for the next period. We need the required return. Now, what does the required return look at? Or what is that? That's going to be the CAPM model, right? You already did that calculation for your company. So you need that. You need the dividend for the next period. And then what you need is, we need a growth rate of the dividend. So you have to kind of think about how to find the growth dividend in that to do our model. So the different ways of doing it would be, I have a growth here. It went from 1.15 to 1.2. We can make that assumption that that grew for the year. So we can use, it might grow a little more, but we have to have the data that, use the data that we have. So if it was 1.15 and 1.2, to find the growth rate, we would just take the newest value minus the previous divided by the previous. Let's put this in a percentage. So that is justifiable if you want to use that 4.35. You can use that if you wanted to. So we got all the variables we need. All you have to do is revisit chapter 9. We have the required rate of return, which is the CAPM model. We have the growth rate, and then you could find the dividend. Where's the dividend located at? Well, the dividend is located on the summary page of Yahoo Finance, and it is right here. We have the for dividend and yield, $4.8. You can use that estimate if you want to use it. Now, again, whatever you use, you have to screenshot it and you have to justify it. Another option you have, you can search for, I did Lowe's 10K. So here's their 10K form. I'm going to hit Control F, and you look at the bottom left corner, I have dividends. And I'm going to kind of look around and see what kind of data they got here. These are kind of total values, total cash dividend payments, dividend per share. I have $4.50 for 2024, and I got $4.30 for 2023. This may be a good way. I'm going to hit enter a couple more times, see what else we got for dividends. Cash dividend declared, that's total value. Cash dividend declared for 23, there it is, 4.35. For 2024, accrued dividend. I'm going to see what else they got here. All right, there you go. I think I'm going to go back to that one part, which is right here. So I have the 2024, I have the 2023. So if you use your 10K, I want you to screenshot that. So 450 and 430. So we know it's 4.50. And then we know the year before, 4.30. So what was that? 2024. This is 2025. Let's find it. Let's see what the growth rate is for this dividend. So I'll do new value minus old divided by old. This one's given me, we did a 4.35 growth. This one's given me a 4.65. I mean, it's very close. You can use this if you wanted to. So then what we can do is plug that in, right? It's going to be the dividend. No, one thing we do have to solve, that's 2024. What I want to know is what is the dividend for 2025? No, I bet you what this is now real quick. See how that's a 1.15. Let's go back to Yahoo Finance really quick. I'm sorry. We went to historical data. We'll go to prices, go to dividends only. So that, see what that is? That's quarters. This is quarters. That's paying that dividend. You could add it up, get the total dividend. I use those values to find the growth of the dividend for the dividend discount model. So I just want to show that we could use that. You go to the 10K or use that, and that could be our growth. So the CAPM model, so go back to review it, is going to be equal to the dividend. Now we have, I'm sorry, this should be 2023. We need to find out the required rate of return for this year. We need the next year's dividend for the whole year, what we're going to get paid. So this is last year's dividend, right? So how do we calculate that? There's a couple ways we can calculate it. I can go, well, this multiplied times 1 plus the growth rate, which we calculated, and that could give us a pretty good estimate, $4.7. That could be our dividend. If we go back to Yahoo Finance, well, it gives us on the summary page, and it's very close to what I just calculated. What is the forward expected dividend for the year? Why is this stalling on me? All right, I think my internet, so Bill, stay with me for a second. I just have to come back on. All right, there. All right, let's go back to it. So we calculated that dividend, and now, oh, this internet is getting slow here. It has the forward dividend. What is expected? $4.8. So you could just use that 4.8, and you can see my estimate is very close, 4.7. So you want to take that, you want to divide it by, right? That's including the growth rate. I want to divide it by, and then I'm going to bracket it. I want to have the required return, the RS, that's the CAPM, which you already calculated last one, minus the growth rate, minus that. And then that's going to give us our per share, what we the expected price, or the required price of what we think is going to happen. The required price. This is what we must earn in order to make up that required return. I'm sorry. When I put CAPM here, I see equals. CAPM is that RS. What we're trying to find out is the price. Just notice when I was talking, I did it wrong there. So we want to know the valuation of it. The price of the stock would be that dividend for the next period divided by, that's the CAPM, the RS, required return, minus G. Okay, so that's going to give you a per share. Okay, so that's if your company has a dividend. If you don't have it, you have to note it. You do not have a dividend, which means we're going to have to find a different method. what we're going to have to do is I'm going to go to financials. I'm going to go to the cash flow statement, and I want to see the free cash flows. So if you notice, the first one is TTM. That's like what's going on to the current year. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight 22 to 25. I'm going to copy that. So we're going to estimate what is this company worth. Now we're going to get a little different result here. So again, the dividend discount model, which is the cash flow discounted model, same thing. So I'm going to paste it here. This was 2025. And then I'm going to go equals -1. I can put the remaining years down. I've done this in another video recently. I'm going to go over here. I want the numbers to go across. I'm going to hit transpose. And I'm going to highlight those values. And then I'm going to hit equal transpose. I'm going to highlight those values. All right, so we got that. A couple things we want to see here is we have cash flows. We have to estimate what the cash flow is going to be in 2026. Now, to estimate that, this gets a little difficult, is because, watch what I'm going to do here. Let's find out what is the growth rate. So let's do the growth equation here. So if I go equals, actually I can't do that year, I have to do the next year. I'm going to go equals, it's going to be bracket, it's this year minus the previous year divided by the previous year. And that's going to give me a percentage. And you notice it shrunk. So we have to be careful with our estimates. I don't know if Lowe's is going to shrink by 18% again with their free cash flow. And then it shrunk again. And what we have to do is we have to estimate what this is going to be. 2026, what is that cash flow? Well, I would have to calculate a growth rate. And I don't like those growth rates. They're kind of so if we found the average, I mean, we could take these three growth rates. Well, it's a negative 0.72. I don't think they're going to shrink this year. I mean, they could. I think they just had some issues. Got to kind of think it through here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just take, in my example, now your company might be okay taking all three, but I'm just going to take these two. How about that? 8%. I think that looks good. That's going to be our growth rate. Now what we can do is we can estimate 2026. It's going to be the previous year, multiply by 1 plus the growth rate, close it up, and I'm going to get rid of that decimals there. So that's our 2026. So I think we got pretty good. We got a growth rate of 8%. That seems kind of high. If I took the average, we're not going to decline, but I'm just going to roll with this. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want to you can do some research on online and see what a good growth rate for a home improvement store would be. So what we can do is now we can find out what is the valuation of this company through their cash flows. Well, the valuation is going to be the cash flow in next year. That's this value, 2026. And you want to divide it by, why is that? Dividing it by, well, I want to divide it by, and what I'm going to divide it by is the same thing as the dividend discount model, is the RS minus G. So again, the RS, what is that? That's CAPM. And the G is the growth rate. And what is the growth rate that we just solved? Is right here. That's our growth rate. Just what and you got to get a good estimate. I want to see these numbers. You're going to do these calculations. And then make sure you put these, this is the free cash flow estimates, and we can actually see what's going on there. So you can find that. Now, this is going to give you the valuation for the company. I'm not typing it good. Okay, valuation for the company. That's going to be a valuation. So what you have to do, the dividend discount model is a per share price. This is not a per share price. This is the overall valuation. If you have to find a per share price, we need the shares outstanding. So how do we find that? So let's go to Yahoo Finance. And again, whatever you use, I want to see the proof in it. So we have to go to, let's go to financials. Shares outstanding might be the balance sheet, right? Let's see if we can find shares issued. Looks like they're buying back stock, which is interesting there. Stockholders' equity we got here. Capital stock, retained earnings. Common stock. I don't know if that's what you want. Shares issued. Remember the 560,000. Let's go to statistics. Let's try to find out where we can find shares outstanding. There we go. So that is correct, 560,000. So you take that 560 million, it's not 1,000. So you take that value, the 560 million, and back to Excel, you want to find out what that is. And then what you can do is you can put it, divide your valuation, whatever that value is, that price, and you divide it by the shares outstanding. Now, another way we can do it, where's Lowe's at? How can we find the shares outstanding? It's probably the best one, and I should have done this from the beginning. Here's shares Lowe's. I'm going to convert that. I'm going to go to data. I'm going to go to stocks, and then I'm going to select over here to the right, companies, New York Stock Exchange. I'm going to go equals. I'm going to select that cell, and let's see if we can find shares outstanding. Shares outstanding. We got it right there. 560 million shares outstanding. So, so you can use that value. So, I probably would recommend this. This is something that you want to get good at. You can look it up on Excel, and you can get all the data. So, I just want to show that you have two methods. The trick you have to find, you have to have the capital required rate of return, and then you have to have you must show the growth rate. You have to find a growth rate. So you got to find, not too hard. You got a lot of stuff you can find in the 10K. You could do Yahoo Finance to find the dividends. And then if you're going to do a cash flow, you could do the cash flow method. So either way. So there you go. This video went a little longer than expected. I kind of showed both ways, and I didn't set this up, so I had to kind of look where the data is. But if you get good at it, it's kind of fun looking for the data. So that's it for this one, and expect the next section, which would be section 7, and that's going to be based on, let's see real quick here, weighted average cost of capital, and the last part we have is capital budgeting. Okay, take care. God bless.